Hey everybody, Larissa with the Real Estate Muses. I'm currently in one of our listings, 2911 Woodcrest in the Northwood neighborhood, and I really wanted to show you guys this property because it has the coolest flex space for what could be a really good homeschooling and virtual learning room. So I've invited two of my friends, Sarah and Sarah, to tell you guys some organization tips on how to set up a schoolroom and also how to set up your kids for success in this new school year as we kind of navigate this together. So sit down, keep watching, because we're going to give you guys some really cool tips.
Hi, my name is Sarah Halbach, and I'm a professional organizer here in San Antonio, and we are about to start school. And so I have been helping a lot of moms set up their distant learning or homeschool desks in their home. I am a mom of three, so I am right there doing this alongside of you. I have an incoming 5th grader, an incoming 2nd grader, and then I have a 3-year-old who's running around. So I'm gonna walk you through what I've done personally in my own house. It's just some really quick and simple, easy things that there's still time to buy. You can grab them on Amazon or Target or Walmart. And I'm gonna walk you through kind of my general setup. So as you can see here, we've got a built-in desk. If you do not have a built-in desk at your house, that is okay. I do not have a built-in desk at my house. So what I did is I grabbed card tables, folding tables, and popped them up, in one in my living room, and then I popped one up for my daughter upstairs in her room, and I bought a white tablecloth from Target, and then I put this setup on top, and I just gave them a folding chair, and that was their little workstation. And so don't fret, you don't even need to go out and buy an expensive desk, especially since we don't know how school's gonna go throughout the year. You can just use a card table, just use what you have, something inexpensive, and put a $10 tablecloth on it. Don't use your nice one. I learned that the hard way because my son drew all over his with marker. So just grab a cheap one and drape it over the table so it looks nice. As you can see, we've got our learning device, our computer, since they're gonna be e-learning, for the good future, and you are going to want to get a set of headphones. The school probably will recommend that, but I can recommend it from firsthand experience that with Zoom calls going on and morning meetings happening all at the same time, headphones are a great way for the child to really zoom in and just listen to what the teacher is saying. And another recommendation for if you're confused on maybe where to put your desk set up for your child, I would do it facing towards a wall or a window. Not towards the inside of your house where they can see you walking around or get distracted by other children or pets or anything like that. They need kind of like a clear space. And like I said, I had my son who was younger and needed a little help with all the technical things. I had him in our living room, so we were close by and we could kind of keep an ear on things. And then my daughter, who was much more self-paced, she was upstairs in her room. So, but they did need to be separated from each other because of the distraction issue, and then sometimes they would take off the headphones or need to talk, and that's very distracting. So that is tricky when you have multiple kids at home at the same time. But let me show you this. This is what I use in so many homes for art kits, and I actually use this aside from homeschooling, but it's been great to have when my kids are home because I put one of these on each one of their desks. This is a little turntable. It's from Learning Resources. I got it off Amazon, and what's great about it is these pull out, and so you can either set this whole thing on their desk, or whenever they have a project, you can grab the one little thing that they might need. And so I filled this with all brand new school supplies, and you might have all these things that you can mix, match, and put together, but right now I would say just start fresh. This will actually get them really excited. When I set this down, my kids were so excited that they had all of this fun, new, fresh school supplies. So some of the things I grabbed, and right now Walmart and Target have great back to school sales. I mean, things of crayons are 50 cents, markers are 99 cents. I mean, you can get some really great stuff inexpensively. So I have colored pencils, I have crayons, I have markers, thin and big, I have highlighters, and then of course a bunch of number 2 pencils. Of course, if you have older kids and you need pens, things like that, whiteout. But for little kids, you know, things like glue, glue sticks. I love the little middle because that's where I keep the scissors. And it's a great little cylinder right there. And then this is probably the thing that my son got the most excited about is his own pencil sharpener, an electric. This one's battery operated. But he sat there for a long time and would sharpen and resharpen all of his pencils. So grab yourself one of these. The kids will love it. I also threw in there some like fun, encouraging erasers. They say, "You did it, amazing job, superstar." Just some fun little extra things for the kids to have to get excited about. So I created one of these for each child that was in school. So as you can see here, I have 2 for these 2 sisters that will be using these. And then moving on to what to do with all their papers and school books, I have one of my favorite products, which is this organizer from Container Store. And I love the colors. They also have one that has red and orange colors, but it has these really easy drawers. And so this is where I keep all paper. So I have, in the first one, I actually just have note cards, index cards. You could put, their spelling, sight word cards in here, math flashcards. Then this one has notebook paper, I have white paper, and then I also have construction paper in the bottom. And so this is just super easy. It keeps all the paper together and clean and easy. I have used this personally in my own house. You can also use this for tons of other things, stickers, art supplies, you name it, you can put it in there. I would recommend getting a magazine type file for each kid. And that's going to be where they're like any type of school books or school notebooks that the schools provided. They're going to want like a landing spot where they can go. And so what I love about this setup is that a child can reset it at the end of the day. And that's one of the things that I would recommend working on is at the end of the day, just putting all the markers back in. And when it's easy like this and it has its own little dividers, it's very clear where the crayons go. And you don't have to worry about boxes and the boxes breaking. It's just go ahead and debox everything and throw that all away, and then you will have less cleanup. And then you would just tell them this is exactly where your books go, and then if you need any paper, it's right in here. And the last thing you might even think about was just getting a cheap light. Like I said, my son was put in the corner of our living room so we could keep an eye on him, but it was a corner, and so it didn't have adequate light. So I just picked up cheap little colored lights. You could even ask them what their favorite color is. These are from Walmart. They were under $10, and they're great, just little desk lamps. So it's pretty simple. There's still time. You can get everything on Amazon or a quick trip to Walmart or Target and set up a very fun learning environment for your kid to be taught distant learning. So thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Sarah, and I am a former educator. I have over 16 years of experience in the school system. I have only been out of the classroom for about 16 months. So I am here today just to talk a little bit about how you might be able to set yourself up for success, set your family up for success, and set your kids up for success. We hope that the beginning of the year and online learning at home is a short-term solution, but either way, if you can set up some of these best practices in your home right now, it's really a win-win because you're going to be setting up your kids for success when they transition back to the traditional classroom. So behind me here, I know the other Sarah, who is a professional organizer, talked about how to set up an area of your home in order for your children to be able to participate in online learning or do their work independently. I want to talk a little bit more about what that might look like in terms of implementation. So one of my first suggestions would be before school, if you haven't already done this, set aside some time, probably more than once, to sit down and talk about what you guys think this should look like as a family. And of course, that's going to look different for every single family. If there's 2 parents in the home and both of them work, it might look very, very different than if there's a parent in the home who's able to give more time and attention to the actual facilitation of the school day. And again, it's going to look different if there's just 1 parent in the home. But I think the important thing is that you're talking to your kids now about expectations. I also think it would be really, really helpful if you would sit down and write some of this out. If you can go to the store and get the Post-it notes that are large, you might be able to write out a schedule for each one of your kids and the adults in the home so that they know what time they wake up every morning, their personal routine, if that's eating breakfast, brushing teeth, making their bed, and getting dressed. I would suggest that they get dressed just like they're going to school. Once they're up and ready to go, you might want to write out before school starts what happens when the school day begins. So I know a lot of districts are saying that their school day is going to start at 8 a.m. So maybe you're going to ask your kids to be at their desk or in their chair by 7:55, 7:58. Maybe you're going to use some sort of a kitchen timer or your cell phone to let kids know when it's time to transition. And that's another thing that I want to talk about as a teacher. I taught middle school for many, many years. These are not teeny tiny children, but they still need a lot of assistance moving from one activity to another. And I think that's going to be a big point for families as they try to get their kids to move from one subject or one block of time to another on the computer. We might, as adults or parents, look at that break time that might be built into the school day as an opportunity to go run and get something done for 5 minutes, or let the kids just run free and get some energy out. And while that's true, what could probably be very frustrating, I would imagine, for a lot of parents is trying to get your children focused back on the next subject matter or activity at hand. So I would really begin to think about, if I were you as a parent, what do I want those break times to look like? If your district has built in a break time for the students, do you want to give your children enforceable choices? Do you want to remind them that they might need to go to the restroom, get water, get a snack, run to the mailbox to get a little bit of exercise? And then you're going to have to help them with that time management piece. As you know, you already know that as a parent. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But I am just giving you a reminder that that transition piece, no matter how old or young your children are, can be very, very difficult. And I know when I was in the classroom, I spent months in the school year training and retraining children on how to be successful and independent when it came to moving from one activity to another. I also want to encourage you that if it's at all possible to include snack time, especially for younger children, that is built into their school day. They're used to that. Their little tummies need that. Their little brains need that. So if you know that that's a time of the day when you're probably going to be on a sales call or unavailable, maybe find a place right here behind me, for example, or somewhere in the kitchen that your kids can access predetermined snacks on their own. Even if they're as young as 5 or 6 years old, they could go grab a snack bar or some fruit. And that way, maybe they don't have to come get you. That might be an option. And then same thing with lunch. If you guys have the ability on any level to make lunch the night before or in the morning before school gets started, that might be a nice way to just transition from school that might be ending at noon and going straight into lunchtime, and then you're done for the day. Or part 2, which would be that afternoon session that a lot of campuses and school districts are offering. So a lot of the things that you already do for traditional school, you might just want to think about what are those things that we can implement in the home in order to keep structure and organization. Kids thrive under that, and they're very, very used to that at school. Kids are used to having every single second of their day organized throughout the school year. And so it would really be expected and comforting to them if you had visuals on the wall or a printed paper that they could refer to in terms of every morning we start with math, or every morning we start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we go straight into language arts, and that way they know what's coming. And if I haven't said this already, I would recommend that as an adult or a parent, you put up your schedule. It doesn't have to be extremely detailed, but you could put up your schedule to say, you know, at 8 o'clock, mommy has to check email. At 9 o'clock, daddy has to get on a phone call, or whatever it may be. Now, of course, that may switch a little bit throughout the work week, but at least your children are also seeing that everybody's on a schedule. And then if it is possible, because you have older children in the home, if you haven't already done this, you may want to employ or ask your older children to support and help the younger ones when it comes to some of the smaller tasks that they're going to need help with. But the bottom line, you guys, is that the point is just to take heart, be encouraged. There are so many people in the country that are going through this with you, and although that doesn't make it easier, we should just remember that kids are going to be fine. Yes, they have been out of school for a while, and it is a few more weeks of schooling at home, but they're resilient. They will catch up academically. I don't think you should lay awake at night feeling like your kids are falling farther and farther behind. You know your children best. You know their needs, you know their abilities and their capabilities, and there's always ways to incorporate learning opportunities throughout the day, even if it's not in a traditional or online school setting. You can always talk about reading and writing opportunities, math opportunities, science, and real-world learning opportunities for your kids that don't take place always behind a computer or within the walls of a classroom. So be encouraged as a parent that all you can do is all you can do. And all you can do is Set your kids up for success. Try to provide them with routine. Try to provide them with visual prompts and schedules that they can refer to. And then if you're able on any level that first day of school to take the day off, and that might be a big if, but just to set everyone up for success and walk through the whole school day with them. Be available, figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then maybe after the first week, sit down as a family and say, okay, what do we need to adjust? We're all making this up as we go. There's not a right or a wrong for any one family. It's just about what works best for you guys and the needs of your family based on the needs of your kids.